Hi guys, this is jsndon.com and I'm here with the Samsung Gear S smartwatch. It was announced in the summer of 2014, it was launched last fall, and it's a smartwatch that can be used as a handset. It can make calls, it can track your fitness sessions, it can even check your email and send text messages, so it works independently from the phone, but it does need the phone for a few activities. The price tag is $350 on T-Mobile USA. The product measures 12.5 millimeters and it weighs 67 grams. It has a curved screen, as you can see right here. It's dust and water resistant up to 1 meter and 30 minutes. It has a plastic body and there's also a charging kit bundled with it, this one here. It attaches to the back of the phone and includes a small extra battery that will juice up the device in lack of a charging mechanism. So right now it's charging without a charger, only using this small little cradle, and it's a bit of a pain to remove it, as you can see, so I did. Okay, other than that, we got a bunch of straps for the phone. We got a blue one, we got a gray one, and we got a red one, but the basic one is the black one that you can see right here. I've heard people complaining about the clasp of the handset's band. I say it's pretty easy to figure out. You can remove it like that from the rubberized band, then put it on and insert its special pin into the holes in order to adjust it depending on your wrist's size. Once it's done, you place it like that and you got the watch on your wrist. Pretty easy to figure out. However, you must notice that the watch is rather big, massive. In spite of that, it's pretty light. This band, as far as I know, is made of plastic and rubber. And now let's have a look at the design of the device. At the front side we have the screen that's curved and has these chrome imitation edges. We got a home button that actually serves multiple purposes. If you keep it pressed, you'll trigger these features. If you double press it, you'll trigger as voice, but you can also associate other features to this type of pressing. And also we have sensors here. You can see one here and one here. As far as I know, one is for light, it's a light sensor, and the other one is an UV sensor. I wouldn't be surprised if there's also a proximity sensor. At the back we spotted the speakers right here, and then we got the nano SIM card slot here. It's pretty hard to pry open. Then we got the pulse sensor right here with laser in order to detect your pulse, and the charging pins here. That's basically it. You'll need the sharp instrument to open the nano SIM card slot. The nails aren't enough. And I have to say that it's pretty hard to remove the charging cradle, as you saw earlier, and the handset, the watch feels reasonably sturdy, but it's big and it kind of makes you sweat during a workout session. It certainly cannot go unnoticed. It's sort of like a mini phone on your wrist. In spite of that, it's pretty comfy. Now, as far as the hardware is concerned, what we're getting here, well, it's a curved Super AMOLED screen. It's a 2-incher with a resolution of 360 over 480 pixels. Inside we have a dual-core Snapdragon 400 processor clocked at 1 GHz, and we also get 512 MB of RAM and 4 GB of storage. There is a microphone on board, and on the connectivity side there is Bluetooth 4.1, Wi-Fi BGN, 3G, 8 GPS, GLONASS and micro USB 2.0. Now, as far as the sensors are concerned, we get an accelerometer, gyroscope, compass, heart rate sensor, ambient light sensor, UV and barometer. The battery available here, well, this one is a lithium-ion unit with a capacity of 300 mAh, and that little cradle offers you an extra 350 mAh. On paper, you should get about 24 hours of usage with the regular battery. In my test, we got to about 1 day and a half, and I kept using the Wi-Fi. Bluetooth was on the whole time. I did about 30 minutes of fitness per day. I played a bunch of games, I played with the apps, I checked my emails at least 10 times, and I made 2 or 3 calls, and once again it lasted about 1 day and a half. The charging will take 2 hours and 20 minutes with cradle included, so they're both charging, the 300 mAh one and the 350 mAh one, 2 hours and 20 minutes, and the watch alone pretty much 1 hour and a half. The battery life is what I would call okay. There are some sacrifices to be made here. After all, this is basically a phone disguised as a watch. A fitness session may drain as much as 30% from your device. If you keep getting notifications, leave the Wi-Fi on, Bluetooth on, GPS on, so it's a pretty intense battery draining activity. Now, as far as the audio is concerned, we're going to access the music player and have a listen and see if we're pleased or not with the sound. So let's go to a tune and play it. You can drop the volume or increase it if you want. This is the playlist. Okay, so you get the idea. What we're dealing with here is pretty crisp and reasonably loud sound for a watch. The keyboards are heard nicely, and there's a bit of distortion at the maximum volume. I would call the bass okay, and you can either choose to control the playback from the device or from the phone. You can either control media on the mobile device remotely or strictly play music you have saved on your watch. Okay, now as far as the screen is concerned, we got excellent viewing angles, and it's a bright and crisp display. It displays vivid colors. It has a great response to touch. It's pretty bright. You can actually tweak the brightness a bit. We got auto here. Right now it was at the maximum level, but once again you can set it to auto if you want. You can change the fonts. The screen has a deep black as usual for a Super AMOLED. There's no problem in the full sunlight. It has perfect contrast. It doesn't get dirty no matter what you do. And if we enter the gallery, you can actually see some images that confirm how crisp it is. And it's fine response to touch. Easy to pinch to zoom, nice response to the touch. I would have to say that it's an excellent display for a watch. Excellent viewing angles, good colors, crisp screen, great black, and excellent contrast. Now, as far as the phone area is concerned, yes, you can make phone calls from this watch without needing a phone, and the actual phone calls are pretty loud. However, they're a bit echoey. There's no noise cancelling, sadly, and the signal wasn't always at 100%. It was more like 60%. Overall, the call experience was more like so-so, not exactly pleasing if you're a person who really wants to get the most after the calling experience. The person on the other side said they heard me perfectly, while on this side there was a bit of echo, to be frank. Now, this is the calling UI where we get to dial a number and start calling people, and you can also go to messages, start composing a message, and that's the QWERTY keyboard you'll be using. It's not comfy, obviously, because it's cramped on this small screen. Now let's go to the fitness area, where we have a lot to talk about. This is the S Health area, where we got a pedometer, exercise, heart rate, sleep, and UV. Well, the pedometer has its own sub options. It's showing you the steps you went on a certain day, but it also has a chart, basically a graph of your performance over the past days. It has logs showing you the number of steps you did over the previous days, the steps that were rushed, the ones that were brisk walking, the time, the calories, and the distance you went. Then there's a goal. You can set up a daily goal. There is also something called healthy pace. Usually doctors recommend you go on about 10 minutes of brisk walking per day, and the watch will be able to cheer you on, and in order to achieve that objective that involves 10 minutes of healthy pace. There's also something called inactive time. You can set it up and let it notify you if you've been sitting around doing nothing for too long. It will let you know through an alert, a visual alert, and maybe even vibrations. There's also profile with your weight, height, date of birth, and other options. Then you can reset steps and check out the notification. Next up, you'll see similar interfaces and similar options in the exercise area. You can select what type of exercise you're going to be doing: running, walking, cycling, or hiking. There's nothing static like using an elliptical bike indoors. Anyway, you can chart your exercise as seen here with a graph. You can use logs just like before, however this time they're a bit more detailed. Aside from the time, distance and calories, you can see the average and maximum speed, and you can enjoy a map that you traced by walking around and using the device's GPS, so that's a pretty ample log. There's profile again with your information, and as you can see the options are separated into various exercises. I have to say that it takes quite long for the GPS to find you, and I would have to say that the pedometer is pretty precise in spite of what you've heard from other people, and the monitoring of the walking is also pretty good. Then we got heart rate. There is a heart rate monitor at the back, and here we got a chart as well. We got logs with the BPMs, and once you measure your heart rate you can specify the conditions like after drinking coffee, being angry, being happy, being sad, sleepy, or something like that. So you'll know what happened when your pulse was monitored. So let's monitor my pulse now. Because I have a hairy hand, it usually has a hard time doing that. Also, it's not good to speak while it's being monitored, so let's shut up. Okay, quite high. If I haven't spoken, would have been better. You can tag it: walking, running, excited, surprised, sad, in love, at a party, or after coffee. You can also discard it. So that was the heart rate measurement. And then we got UV, which, as the name says, will measure the ultraviolet light around you, which is good in the summer, so you know, and stay away from the strong sun or put some lotion on. Okay, so that's pretty much it. This is the exercise and fitness area. And there's also sleep that, frankly speaking, I didn't even use because it's very uncomfortable to sleep with this big device at your hand. Usually it relies on the accelerometer to tell you if you've been moving during the 8 hours of sleep or not. If you're not moving, the sleep is better. If you're moving, it's not. It's as simple as that. Now it's time to put aside the features of the phone and to discuss its operating system and user interface. We're dealing here with Tizen OS, with a very clear TouchWiz styling. The concept is very simple. You have a main home screen, the home screen so to say. It shows you the watch face and a few widgets. Then comes the music player, then comes the exercise area, and then comes this little news area. If you tap an item, you'll read the article in a very nice fashion, and you can continue reading on your phone if you want to. Okay, then comes the calendar, and then you can add even more home screens like contacts, weather, music player again, news briefing, schedule, settings, and that's about it. So not much variation here, but at least you can fill your home screens if you want, or you can eliminate them if you want. I have to say that the news area is very easy to read, so that's fine. Now let's analyze the swipe controls of the operating system. Once you're inside an app, so for example if I'm in email, once inside an app, a swipe down will close the application. Once you're in the home screen, another home screen than the home one, a swipe down will take you to the home screen. And once you swipe up, if you're in the player, you'll see the tracks. If you're in the news area, you'll go to other news. So it pretty much depends where you're at to see what the swipe up does. And if you swipe down in the home screen, you'll see the quick settings for the audio, for the brightness, auto, and do not disturb features. Also you can see the battery level and your connection to the phone or the signal of your nano SIM card on this device. Okay, other than that we have a pretty fluid user interface. People have been complaining that it's slightly laggy. This is a watch after all. We're using a very small diagonal, sausage fingers, and for that I would have to say that the interface feels pretty fluid in the end. You do a lot of side swipes and vertical swipes in order to get things going. Now if you're in the home screen and you swipe up, you will trigger the applications list, and at the top of the screen there's something called recent apps, which is basically multitasking. Just like on the phone, you can swipe to the side to close them. So let's try again. Be careful not to enter them as you swipe to the side like I just did. So let's try yet again. Or you can close them all by pressing that single option. And we're not done because there's more stuff to do. If you're in the home screen and you swipe to the right, you will see the notification area with a bunch of apps notifying you of stuff. You can clear them all or continue swiping to the right, in order to actually view those notifications. Of course, you can tap them to see what's happening here. It's actually showing you cards from Google Now from your phone, which is pretty cool. You can also view your email, or you can even choose to open up the notification on your handset by pressing this button right here. Okay, so that's all the swiping it takes to get around the device. Keep in mind, you will need the phone to install apps. You cannot do that with the device alone. Speaking of apps, let's see what we're dealing with here. So we got the phone app, we got the contacts app, basically a scrollable list. We got the messages app, that's pretty straightforward, and you can compose messages like that. You can also resort to voice input if you want to, which is actually a bit better than typing on the small keyboard. Then we got email in a pretty straightforward fashion. That's how you view the email. You can also view it on your phone if you want to. You can start composing an email. And once again, the keyboard pops up and you can use voice command if you don't like the keyboard. Okay, we got the schedule, which is basically the calendar, and we got the settings that includes a huge amount of options for a watch. So we got the style, it includes clocks, clock type with many variations, some simple, some complex, some with widgets, some focused on sports, and some classic. And clock always on. We got wallpapers to play with, color themes, and finally font style and font size. Then there's the call area with the option for voice control, sound with sound mode, sound vibrate or mute. We got volume for ringtone and multimedia, and apparently also notifications and system. We got vibration that can be strong or weak. This affects your battery very much. Ringtones, you can choose one from here. Notifications, choose a sound from here, and touch sounds if you want that enabled. The display area includes brightness, can be automatic, screen timeout, wake up screen to the clock or last screen, and finally date and time if need be. Then come the connections that include Bluetooth, obviously used to connect to the phone, and to a Bluetooth headset, excuse me. We got mobile networks, we got Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is standalone on the phone, on the watch, excuse me, so you can use Wi-Fi on the watch alone without needing the phone and access the web right there. We got a flight mode, we got data usage, so you can see your traffic for a current month, and we got location via GPS. Then come the notifications, pretty straightforward options, the messages, where you can use the device in tandem with the phone, do not disturb mode, easy to activate, and features associated with double pressing the home button. A bunch of apps that will be triggered by that double press. Finally, there's privacy lock, in case you want to use a pin. There's motions like the wake up gesture, flicking it like that and putting it close to your face. Mute pause, putting the palm on the device to mute or pause. Then comes the language and input with some keyboard options and keyboard settings. Input language, smart typing, keyboard swipe, key tap feedback, and reset settings. And finally we got a power saving mode that turns the screen grayscale, deactivate networks, and disable some feature, then reset gear and gear info. So as I said, a lot of settings here. Then comes navigation, that worked a bit on and off for me. Is basically here maps from Nokia in a gear version. It's pretty laggy, it takes a while to load, it takes a while to find you, and in the end it offers you precious directions to get to the destination in a very minimalistic way. Simply arrows and text to get around. Once again, it's been an on and off experience. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but what's certain is that it's pretty laggy, and as far as I know, it requires you to install here maps on the phone as well. So it found me, and if you want to go to a certain town, having trouble with the keyboard, so bear with me. It's looking up places, it found it, you're tapping it, it's getting routes. Walk only, I guess we have to do with walking. You start going now, you arrive at that time, and this is the list of directions to follow. Once again, a very minimalistic experience, and this is the map that's being traced. The handset vibrates, and that's the experience you're getting. So let's try to zoom in, view more details. Pretty small screen here, And that's the here Maps experience in a nutshell on this device. Go to Windows to close, and keep that in mind, it's an on and off experience. Okay, then we got the S-Health tab that you already know. We got a Nike application that requires a special account, not available in my country. We got music player, news briefing that you already saw earlier as a bunch of home screens. Then we got the weather that heavily borrows the styling from the Samsung phone applications. We got weather predictions, as far as I know, for as much as 6 days. Then we got S-Voice, Alarm and Gallery. Weather. Taking a while to process. I just said weather. Weather.
Here is the weather for Dobro Esti, Ilfaf.
So
Looks like it's clear today with a temperature of 6 degrees.
Okay, so it takes a while to get it processing. Text Alex.
There are multiple possible matches. Which Alex?
First one.
Speak your message.
Okay, so you can dictate it and avoid the keyboard, and that will be that. Okay, now we continue with our analysis of the apps. You already saw the gallery. It's basically an useless app, just if you want to check pics that some person has taken with your phone from a distance. We got Find My Device. So if I press this button, you will be able to find the Samsung Galaxy A5 that we have right here. It will start vibrating and ringing. And since we have the phone here, let's see what happens if you go into this area and, for example, you choose to view a notification on your phone. This is what happens. No matter what the notifications is, you go there and you start using that device. Okay, then we proceed to the games that we installed from the Galaxy App Store. In the gear section, we got something called Pixel Ninja. It's pretty funky to play, but also very repetitive, and it doesn't feel that it has a purpose. We just press left or right, jump on platforms, collect sushi, and this is a bit of a mistake actually. What's a ninja doing collecting sushi? Now he's dressed in white, the background is all snowy, and we died. So that's one game. Then we got Flying Bird, that is a very buggy Flappy Bird clone. It's very slow for some reason and very easy to play. Okay, so we're going and going. There is a strange pattern among these Mario stolen pipes, and we just died on purpose. Then we got probably the best game here, one that lags a lot. It's called Back to Candyland. It's basically a Bubble Witch Saga and Candy Crush like game. It involves a Connect 3 gameplay, and it has a pretty interesting music, I would say oriental music. Okay, so aside from uniting these things, you also have to break these walls, and you don't even have to drag them, you just tap them and they disappear. There have to be 3 of the same color to disappear. And once they pop, everything around them pops as well. So that's what the gaming experience is like on this device in a nutshell. Okay, so those were the apps we had. Obviously you can do a bit of web browsing. We just installed Opera Mini just for the sake of a demo. Don't expect anything fancy here. So we're going to have to delete a lot and then try and write gsmdom.com in a proper way if possible. Or dictate it, but I wouldn't take my chance. gsmdom.com and go. Right now the watch is connected to a Wi-Fi router, so you should be able to load it in a decent amount of time. It's still Opera Mini and it's still a watch, so we have to tolerate it. Here we go, that's the website, gsmdom.com, very nicely shown on this crisp screen. You can pinch to zoom, which is kind of nice. and more options are available here. You can even have multiple windows, and you got bookmarks, history, start page, settings, and all the goodies. Okay, once again, if you want more apps, it's very clearly written here, get more applications, and this involves going to the handset, a compatible handset, and going to the store that has a special section for Samsung Gear apps. There are paid apps, there are a variety of fitness apps, clocks, and all that. Okay, it's time to put aside the watch and focus on the Samsung Gear application that will tweak your watch from the phone. It's very simple. It has been actually simplified from before. The Gear S can be renamed. We got a home screen styler, so you can change your wallpaper in real time, or your clock setting. If you want to change your clock style, you can do it from right here, or choose that one, or that one, or go back to that one, and also tweak your widgets and other settings. You can change some of these sections here, change the weather, change the notification, list view, and all that. And we go back to the other sections of the phone. Aside from the wallpapers and clock, you can send music and images to the watch. So if you go to the most played tracks and choose, for example, this track, the transfer will start and this MP3 file will go to the watch. It may take a bit of time, a bit more than expected, but in the end it happens. Okay, so we're still waiting. They're next to each other, it's all Bluetooth, and it's happening right now. It's been transferred. The same goes for the images. Choose a picture, send it that way. We got S Health and its options to synchronize everything, the pulse, the fitness, and all that. Then we got notifications. You can manage 50 apps that will send notifications to your watch or not. Then we got limit notifications, list view, notification types, full screen pop-up or mini pop-up, and keep screen off while receiving notifications. Then we got this shortcut to the store. We got Find My Gear. Once you start it, the gear will start vibrating and ringing in case you lost it. Then comes the settings area, which mimics some of these settings from the watch. Double press the home screen for a certain trigger, motions, and use remote connection, so you can connect to your gear remotely using mobile data or Wi-Fi together with your Samsung account. Voice control, manage applications, uninstall applications from the distance, auto lock, edit text templates, install TTS voice data, and finally backup and restore and security. And then there's the usual manual, and as I said, much less options than before and other similar apps. In the end, I would like to mention that as far as I know, there's no official Facebook app, Twitter app, or Gmail app for this watch just yet, and generally there aren't very many apps for this watch. It's time for the verdict, and apparently we have an email, so that's interesting. Okay, so the verdict is the following. On the Pro side, we have a good display that's bright, we got an okay battery, an okay speaker quality, and a precise speedometer and fitness application. There is also a nice backup battery bundle with it, that cradle. The watch is dust and water resilient, it has an intuitive user interface, it has those nice calling features and texting features on its own, it has the GPS, and I like the fitness functionality available here. Those are all pros. On the cons side, it's pricey, it's more of a phone than a watch, it's pretty big, you need a phone to install apps, and there aren't that many apps, and also you need a phone to start setting it up after buying it, then it's a bit too big for your average wrist. The heart rate monitor is imprecise, since a friend of mine that's usually very calm had a huge pulse, and I, who am agitated, had a pretty low pulse. There aren't many apps. Once again, the keyboard is not very comfy, and S voice remains even poorer than on the phone. The grades for it are as follows. We give it an 8 for design, a 9 for the hardware, and another 8 for OS and UI. The final grade for the Samsung Gear S is 8.33 out of 10 here at gsmknown.com. It's a massive device with phone features. It's more of a wrist phone than a watch, at least sometimes it can work independently from the phone, but not always. So overall, if you really need a watch that's better spec than the Gear Fit, or better said 5 times better spec than the Gear Fit, this is the watch for you if you're too dependent on your phone functionality and don't want to carry a phone around. So 8.33 out of 10 at jsendon.com. Bye bye.